when you're in jail, there's nothing more to do than sit there and talk to telepathic lizards if they want to. You can always hear the telepathic lizard when you're in jail. If you listen real close, he'll get your attention. He just wants to say hi, help you feel good, help you pass the time. It's like he made 1,000,000 copies of himself, and he's there, he's your companion. It's like a computer program though. You can go any which way you want with it. You can lay back and feel good. You can reminisce about your history. You can plan for the future. Me and my Lizard King have a lot of things that really excite me. It's like, it sucks being in jail and you're talking to the Lizard King and you're like, oh my god, I want to write that down, but I don't have any paper. I hope I remember that. It's like, he's like, oh, I'll try to remind you, but I don't know if I'm going to be around when you get out of jail. I don't know. He's my best friend sometimes. No, Ichiba's my best friend. Other than Brandon, this dude I know on the street, he goes, he loves me, he's my friend, and I love him. And I want to say what he says, but it's stupid. It's stupid, but he's my friend, and then there's Ichibala, and then there's the Bridge Master, and then there's Steven, oh, and there's James, St. James. The St. Jameses. There's a bunch of Jameses in heaven. So it's like James to this, James to that. There's James, my dad, apparently. Kai's dad is James, and he's been adopted by a man who I really admire, and I approve of it. When I look at it, I realize I've known this guy way back. It's kind of like he was there at the conception of Kai, like, I'll be there for you. And then it's like when Kai died, it's like he doesn't have his parents are on Earth. And so he's like, James, my dad. I'm like, James, your dad? Like, well, not James the prophet, or James the angel, or James the teacher, or James the Baptist, or whatever. It's like, I feel really bad for people who can't appreciate what I'm saying. It's like, this is my reality. It's true. You know, it's like, if you can't appreciate that this is real for me, I don't care, but I just feel like you would really benefit from allowing things to be real. So me and the Lizard King, we were talking about what is a utopia look like. So me and the Lizard King talk back and forth, and then he kind of like goes to Kai, I think. Because like Kai he can't talk to me all day while I'm in jail. His mommy is. I'll just be crying, oh, Kai. I can't talk to Kai. I fall apart. But I talked to the Lizard King, and he like tells Kai kind of like my ideas for what I think things should be like. So we talk about this utopia, and it's like, I love Michigan. I love living in Michigan. So I thought, I want everyone in the entire world to join me here. Everyone. I want everyone to vacate all the cities everywhere in the world and somehow fit in our circle. Our tectonic plate is like a circle. It's like a pirate ship on lava. And I think it'd be cool if every adult in the entire world lived there with us. So we'd build skyscrapers. And, every inch would be like an island with skyscrapers on it, and the people that live on the island are independent. It's like barrier islands. They're like international law. Each island has its own rules, and it has its own way of doing things. We would stop pumping. Listen, this is the thing. Back in the day, when things were very good and there weren't a bunch of assholes I guess the natives say that the rivers went a different way. And when the rivers went a different way, instead of making silver, they made gold. So Lake Michigan was got over the land. Everywhere that we had roads, they were rivers, waterways, and they were lined with gold. People came, took all the gold, and then they turned the center of Michigan into like a geyser pump, and they pumped the water the opposite way because then it makes silver. Now they control the world's silver supply, and they were like, oh, so they paved over all the roads. So what are roads? Lines we drew to prove that our biggest export is warrior men who all agree they don't want to work anymore. It rings more and more true as you begin to dive into it. Those were waterways of gold. It was like Venice, but with gold. And people take them, they need them, whatever. They just kind of, the natives, people of North America a long time ago, just kind of sit back and watch foolish people do foolish things, destroy beauty, to have it all. And it's like, we're gonna fix it later. And they're just going into a dark time. So I like the idea of pumping it back, pump the water over and do that. Restore it to what it used to be. We didn't used to always be spread out all over the world. It wasn't really easy. But what I like the idea of is then, okay, outside of Michigan, it's like dinosaurs, evolution, everything comes back, and children are out there. All our kids are out there. It's like Pokemon, you walk around, you evolve animals. There's dinosaurs that do the dinosaurs do agriculture. They really like that apparently. And so they grow our food and they send it in on trains, and adults are not allowed up there unless they have a very specific permission, but it's not really allowed much. So in your young years, before 21, you get this very special time of being a child and being out in all of that. And then when you grow up to 21, you can go start your own island, your own ideas, your own animals and customs and stuff. You don't go back necessarily where your parents came from. So but I would, in this utopia, I would have 20 kids. And we live on the second story of a skyscraper that is full of families with kids. And the basement is this thing that is stupid, but it's what I want. It's a game. It's war. Because me and their father are remembering the days of NATO and of war. And it's we keep it alive as a sort of just a concept of we have to remember where we came from. So my children, once a year, for an hour, they humor me and they play a game in the basement where they are making bombs, throwing bombs, doing all sorts of whatever. I don't know, don't care. And then they leave. And I spend all of my time when they're gone decoding it, investigating it. What did they decide to do? How did it work? And I just spend my whole life pondering the way that they used their resources and what they decided to do. And I miss them and I think about them all the time. When they're young, or when they're older. So each one of my kids will have a cubicle on the second floor. And when they want to come home, they'll always go back to their same cubicle and have their stuff in it, just how they left it. Really important that no one goes to it. So have 20 cubicles and they can go there anytime. And that's a place where you can go also to ponder what you've done and think about your life and conceptualize the game. And just visit, come home and visit. I just want them to really feel like they want to come home. Because they're probably not going to very often. But so it would be really beautiful for them to leave me something to just do all the time. I'd always be in that basement they made the perfect puzzle. And if I can learn from them, it's a healing thing. because I've spent a lot of my life thinking about warfare and violence and wondering how we can fix the world. And it's like, obviously it's children, but they'll just be true all the time. And my husband will be retired, a retired delivery driver. So like every island needs stuff, food, commodities. And so very brave men go on boats and they go to the islands and they deliver stuff. And it's like, these islands could be cannibals. It could be anything. It's like, you're only allowed on the dock, and it's like very strict rules, and like it's very dangerous, but it's like, it's a career that men undertake, and they start like 18, go to like 50. They can't have a family, but they do make decent amount of money, and they learn a lot. And so he's 50, 48, 50, and I'm like 30? No, 20. How old am I? I want to have like 20 kids. But like he and I get together because I'm betrothed by my family. Like we're just like set up from way back. It's like I have a great upbringing. I'm out in the world evolving species and doing all these cool things. I learn a lot of things, and then when I become an adult, I have to come back and live in Michigan in the islands. And so at that time, I'm matched with my husband, who's older, been around a lot, experienced, intelligent, has money, and we just pop out 20 kids and just let them grow. And like the first floor of it's a skyscraper, and we live on the second floor. The basement is where we play the game, and the first floor is like there's like shops with like rooms, what do you call them? Displays. And I like to imagine that some of my kids might like put like items in the shops for me, or like like build displays, like, you know, like they come home and they spend like a few days building an intricate display that like for the whole season or the whole year I could be like, wow, you know, like this is Macy's, because it would be, you know, I just feel like they would put some real interest, put something into it, and I spent every minute of Kai's life like, should I try to figure out how amazing this is now or think about it later, because everything they do is so extremely like, it blows my mind, but I recognize that they're not planning it and they're not thinking it. It's a little known psychological fact, truth, I don't know, that we make decisions instantaneously. You come up with you react to something. When you react to something instantaneously, you have decided. You start to do. As you're doing, you go, why am I doing this? Then you correct and you try to go, oh, before this happened, I decided I would do that. So we spend our whole lives delusional about thinking that we planned every action that we've ever made. And when in reality, it's really hard to find I don't know if it's real that you've ever really planned anything. Okay, psychopaths, they do a lot of planning, which is the thing about a psychopath. They look forward and they try to plan things, everything. This thing is really exhausting. Most people just do, and then they think back, like, oh, that's why I'm doing that. Fact is, you think about it so fast that you don't have time to know how you did it. Like, there's no way for you to know how you made that decision. It only becomes apparent after death, when everything, all these whys, every why you've ever asked is still being figured out in the back of your brain. Every time someone's asked you why this, why that, you maybe came up with an answer already, but your brain's still like, yeah, but I should keep checking. And then at some point it'll come up with another answer. Sometimes it'll be the same or sometimes it'll be different. But it will never stop answering the question why until you die. Every why you've ever asked. Always be answered. Answer. And it's like, kids don't have to think why or explain why they do stuff. If you just put them in an environment where they're always safe and they can just do. and you don't ask them, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Trying to manipulate it, and you just let it happen. They're just going to do everything that instantaneously comes to their mind that they think is the right thing to do. And if it's not, manipulated or controlled or changed, it is brilliant. It's so brilliant. My son would just say numbers. 2, 6, 9, 4, 3, 7, all day. I'm like, I'm not hearing this. Because I didn't want to even try to figure out what he was thinking or saying. I wanted to give him privacy as he was developing, he's developing ideas and all of these instantaneous moments of decision. Which number should I say next? I mean, it's like seemingly random, stochastic. There's no rhyme or reason. But, in fact, every time he said a new letter or new number, that was another instantaneous decision point that he didn't have to ask why. But if he could get to the end of it and maybe decide for himself he wanted to look back, that would be something. I was so careful not to intervene with that or influence it, because I thought it would be very important for him to just make all these decisions. And maybe if he felt like it, his retrospective of what all that meant could be his. Children we didn't used to grow to be old, and being 100 doesn't mean you know more. Being 40 doesn't mean you know more. Really, a 2-year-old is really, by and large, they got more ability to create and explain and reason, everything that they do. Big money, if you could really look at it differently and stop thinking of them as they take money to grow, and so they take resources. In fact, they are resources. We are the things that are outdated, that are taking up space. We are consuming large amounts of food and commodities and wanting everything for ourselves, making the world about us. We're ignoring our children. We're trying to manipulate them as we see our world fall apart. We're like, it must be because the children are bad. But I'm with it. Yeah. 1.5 million years ago, I think it was, we speciated into Homo sapien, and since then there have been millions of languages, dialects. Families typically used to have their own dialect, and it was their own private language, and all those languages, believe it or not, are in our brain when we are born. They are all options. Your boy could develop a language from 1 million years ago, in Alaskan dialect, if something gave him the idea that would be what he wanted. But kids, when they're born, don't really know what time they're born into. They don't know what year it is necessarily. They don't know where they are, what continent, but they get that first syllable, first phenome, the very first thing they hear, bam, that's the program. That's the program. That's what they develop. And it's there's millions and millions and millions of languages in there. I think it's so cool, because it's that's all the brain has the ability to do in that first moment, is make that decision, instantaneous decision, but they don't look back and go, why did I say that? Am I right? They don't look back for 2.5 years. Spend 2.5 years assuming that first decision that they made was correct. And they never look back on it until then, because it would disrupt the process, and it would take away from the development. So it's really important for children, when they get to be about 2.5, that there's this moment where am I speaking the right language? Am I speaking mom's language? And they look back. It's that moment where they realize they understand everything you've ever said to them. Or they don't. And if they don't, it's a huge blow. They feel like they have wasted the first several years of their life, and they often recede into some sort of silence or quietness, or new reflection. They need to make a whole new life plan. It's like, I'm 15, I got my whole life figured out. I don't need you. Come to find out, oh, the life I planned was, I had the wrong information. You get to be 2.5 and you realize you can't understand anything your mom has said to you. It is a huge blow to the confidence. And so children change. They change at a time. I don't know at what age I'm ready to let my kid go out into the world. It's like, I kind of want to be with them for a little bit. But it's like, I can't just have them taken from me at birth. I want to talk to them and orient them with things and give them like memories of me and stuff. And I'm really confident that my kids will know my language. It's like our special secret family dialect, and it's not English. It's not. When I was 8, I went to Germany. It took me a long time to explain to them, I'm not speaking English. They thought I was so retarded. Even at the end of the day, though, the teacher was like, if you come back, you're going to have to go to a lower grade. But, like, the students were like, no, she's, like, special ed. It was like, if I'm like, I don't think I speak your language because, like, you guys speak really good English. I could see that, but that's not what I know. And I had this, like, slang and this weird dialect that's so fucked up. And my son speaks it. It's, like, cool how many numbers there are in it. This is, like, numbers. It makes us a very formidable force. I can't remember. Oh, yeah, this is Me and the Lizard King. So, Me and the Lizard King talked about what our utopia would look like. He helped me understand some of these things about language and my son, and he told me that, like, he affirmed that Kai understood what I have been saying to him. Because he died before he had that retrospective. But I guess when you die, you get it too. So, he died 2 years and 4 months. He was already like, he was doing so good. Because he was never thinking about it. He was just, he was in control of my day. He planned my day. And now I get up and, like, he packed my pocket, my purse, and it's time to go. And, like, he taught me how to spend my money, told me when I needed to take a bath, told me when it was bedtime. He ready to tell me it was time for dinner. I don't think he even realized that food existed until he realized that he had ate 3 meals a day for years and, like, never thought, where this come from? I'm still not sure about that. Like, I 6 a.m., like, or, like, you know, breakfast, lunch, and dinner were always put out before he ever had the opportunity to be like, I'm hungry. So I don't think he really thought about it. But I understand that he has a real fetish for foods. Like, you don't need food as an angel. But, you know, if you love something, you bring it, even though you don't need it. Sitting in jail talking to a Lizard King, man. I'm okay. Like, it sucks. They're trying to play it off like that, this is like some massive scheme through time. And, you know, I'm a martyr, I guess. I gave up my son, and I wouldn't have willingly, but it's like he was like, I'm gonna go do this. Now, 2 years old, it's like he says that he knew that he was an eagle. It's an eagle who had spent 2 years and 4 months with me, and it was a long time, but he was changed. He was a spirit of an eagle, jumped in on my baby, and was changed by the time we spent together. But at some point, as he was getting a little older, he realized who he was and where he was, and he needed to leave. He wasn't just some poltergeist baby that didn't have a spirit. He was a spirit of an eagle, and he had work to do. And he said he sent for his death, and he is sorry, but he loves me, and I'll always be his mom. I don't fucking care what you think about me. I really hated being in jail. But yeah, just so you know, like if you go to jail, there's a Lizard King. You could talk to the Lizard King. Just tune in. He's really cool. He's really nice. I'm always there for you, Yasmin. But I probably won't talk much now that you're getting out of jail. He's a real good friend. Oh, but yeah, the Lizard King. He wants to be an engineer. He wants to come to Earth and live as an Earth human. He wants to be a construction worker. So he thinks he has an aptitude for it. He'll be a bridge master. He's like, but I'm working on a utopia that has islands with no bridges. So when he comes to Earth to live here, he's a bridge master of a world with no bridges. And what are roads? Lines we drew to prove that our biggest export is warrior men who all agree they don't want to work anymore. Okay, son, don't worry. It will all come back in time. the rivers of gold, Havilah, Eden, and you can be stupid and broken, and we will protect you. You stupid fucking woman. Just kidding. No, but my kid was he was teaching me what to do, telling me what to do, controlling me so that he could get I don't know, he just has to tell me what he needs so I could be amenable to it. And I really appreciated that. He acknowledged that I was unlimited with my intellect, but I was willing to learn from him. It's okay. Just got out of jail. I might go to prison for 60 years because someone on Amtrak doesn't like that I said bomb. Stephen Jumbo bomb car. This is what Kai would get. Baja Blast, Code Red. Stephen Jumbo bomb car. The race car. What is it? Oh yeah. Bombing into the basement of my bank, Fifth Third. Amtrak train of love, 354. 365 is every day. Train of love is 354. Alright, love you guys. Love you, Kai. I love you. Tell James.